Stratomentis Publishing presents Threshold of the Mind by J. Magidson, narrated by Jeff Clarke. Copyright 2014. All rights reserved. Chapter 1. The Earth is crowded. 17 billion men and women crowded. At the end of the 21st century, people desperate for space have sprawled onto every available sliver of land, squeezed into every crack. Even the most difficult and remote areas have succumbed to their insatiable need for land. Mankind has trampled the vast forests of North America, scraped the tundra of Asia, and crawled up and over the mountains of every continent. Every acre of arable land has been farmed and every mountainside terraced to create more. Not a rock has been left unturned or a tree standing that could provide sustenance or shelter for the teeming masses of humanity. With one exception. The Grand Canyon in the southwestern United States has repelled the onslaught. 2 billion years of history have shrugged the human lichen off its towering walls and expansive gorge, like a slap in the face of the desperate overcrowding. Even the ancient dwellings of aboriginal cultures and the ugly tourist structures of the 20th century have been wiped clean, returned to their natural state of barren rock and sage native to the Arizona desert. It was not nature that won this battle, however. It was a strength far greater than any natural force. The will of a single man. A man so powerful and so wealthy that he could afford to buy the very wind that whipped through the time-carved gorge. Dr. Alexia Sergey was awakened by some bump or movement of the jet aircraft. She blinked a few times to regain her surroundings, glancing at the time readout of her VR glasses. 0430. Could it be only 6 hours since she had boarded in Reykjavik? Weeks of frenetic planning and effort have left her a shell of exhaustion. Once on the jet, she had only the energy left to collapse into her seat, snap the buckle, and fall asleep. Alexia scanned the dimly lit cabin, the windows shining black against the night sky, the interior whispering the vast wealth of its owner. The walls of the cabin glowed with the deep warmth of real wood. Not the veneered junk that was supposed to look like wood, but never quite did. The latches and handles gleamed of polished brass. Alexia looked down at her stockinged feet, where someone had done her the courtesy of removing her shoes. She dug her toes into the thick carpet, enjoying the sensuous pleasure. The large cabin was arranged more like a private club than a jet. Tall, soft leather seats were set in groups of 4 around short, round tables. On her table was laid a set of exquisite china, delicately filled with red grapes, cheeses, warm rolls, jam, and butter. Next to this, a crystal goblet with ice water and a carafe of coffee. She didn't recall ever seeing a server, yet the ice in her water had not melted and the rolls steamed with fresh warmth. Her favorite breakfast. How did they know? Alexia filled one of the carved glasses with water and drank deeply. It lacked the steely taste of antibacterials that municipal water required. The coffee was rich and mild and made her sigh with each sip. The rest of breakfast was more flavorful than anything she had tasted in years. It had the complex richness of non-modified food. Veneered food always went too far. Fruit was too sweet, bread too bland, and butter too rich. Finally satisfied, Alexia peered again into the dim cabin. She realized she was not alone. The 3 other seats in her small sitting area were empty, but there were 3 other seating areas identical to her own. These were full. To her left, 4 large men sat rigidly straight, staring directly ahead. Their table was empty. They looked alike, hard, chiseled faces and overly developed bodies that seemed to be stuffed into identical black suits, their muscles threatening to tear through the expensive fabric. Clearly, they were security. Alexia looked to the next group. 2 men, 2 women, all of indeterminate age. They had the generic good looks of veneering, gene manipulation that could give a 60-year-old the skin of a 20-year-old. All of them stared into their VR glasses, hypnotized by virtual reality. Each was in his or her own unique world. It could be work, an imaginary office, or recreation, rock climbing the icy slopes of Mount Everest, or the sweaty warmth of a virtual sex room. Their arms and legs twitched with the false reality of a world which didn't require limbs. Alexia quickly looked away. To the final group. 2 men were conversing in the loud whispers of a scientific argument. Alexia smiled with recognition. They were bent close to each other, oblivious to the rest of the world. The third, a stern-looking woman, shot back a look at Alexia, pinched her lips tighter, then glared back into space.